G'day YouTube, Warbles on a lot here. I was going to go to the dump this afternoon, but that didn't happen. Instead of that, I stayed here and I did a little bit of day drinking instead. Because old mate SkittyKitty is on his last legs. This is possibly, perhaps, probably his last ever prowling around. Little fella's got to the point where every time he tries to eat, he spends about 5 minutes arguing with his own jaw. And we get to hear bones crunching, don't we, darling? Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. But do you want to come over and talk to me? Yeah, you can come over. Hey, where do you want to go? So, today's Saturday. There's a vet with an appointment for Monday. Oh, hang on, darling. I'll set that up for you. First, we take that out of the way because, you know, guess who's bought himself a new, brand new, bright, shiny landfill Chinese radio? See, I told you, he really likes licking this thing. I don't know whether it's iron oxide and electrolysis and pain relief or what, but anyway, he likes to lick that old pinion wheel. It's welcome to palliative care for a pussycat. He's had as much pain relief as he can get. The vet is booked to come on Monday at midday. So tomorrow we're going to be digging a grave, and tonight I'm going to be making a coffin. Because, you know, finally you get to the point where you can't just sit there and listen to the cat producing the sounds of crepitus. You know what crepitus is? C-R-E-P-I-T-U-S. It's the sound of broken bones grating against each other. And that's what happens to the little bugger every time he eats. And eventually, as the vet said, you'll get to the point, there we go, he's moved his head, so he's having trouble. Ah, the poor little bugger. Yeah. Eventually he gets to the point where nobody can bear to listen to the noise of his bones crunching in his jaw. So, yeah. I'm not quite as poor as I used to be. There'll probably be another video on that. But I finally had notification from the solicitors who are doing the paperwork to go and prepare my bank account to receive whatever's left of my father's estate, my share thereof, and my mother's estate, my share thereof. So, yeah, Daddy Warbles gets to pay for PussyKats' final vet consultation, which will happen in about a day and a half because it's nearly sundown on Saturday and it's going to happen at midday or 12:30 on Monday. I was at boarding school when my parents had a pet put down, a miniature fox terrier by the name of Peggy. Hey, puss, 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 would you like a cuddle? Hey, would you like a cuddle? There we go. Hey, we sit here, hey, in the hanging hammock chair. Hey, so we're all cancerous men together. Hey, we can sit here. It'll be fine. It's all right. Now, here's the deal, Pussycat. You get to enjoy today. You get to enjoy tomorrow. We've got plenty of pain relief. And when the vet comes, it should all happen outside. Yeah? And you've taken pictures with my daughter where you're going to be buried. You understand what's going to happen. but it'll mean an end of the suffering, darling. You won't have to be hungry and wanting to eat and then having pain in your mouth every time you try. Yeah, is that all right? Can you cope with that? I thank you for 18 years of being my daughter's pussycat. You were maybe 6 or 8 months when you meowed at her. It's okay. Come on. Take it here. Take it. You're a good boy. Yes, you are. You're a good boy. It's okay. Yes, yes, yes. Come on. Yes, old man Warbles loves you. You're the only pussycat who's ever had permission to live on the endangered species sanctuary. Think about that. You're the only pussycat who's ever had permission to live on the endangered species sanctuary. And to my knowledge, you have never once hurt a bird or a lizard. You've never done anything more than frighten a few birds when you walked around the place. You've been a perfectly well-behaved pussycat. Yes, you have. Yes, you're a good pussycat. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. It's okay. It's all right. Yes, 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 you are. You're a good cat. Yes, yes. I'm so pleased that you're still able to enjoy yourself, like, literally days before the end. You're not jumping up and down and screaming in pain and terror. You're not freaked out. You're not putting your nose to the wall and refusing to eat. It's just that eating hurts. And I know what it's like to have eating hurt, mate. I know. And I know what it's like to have your belly think your throat's cut when you don't eat because eating hurts. So it's okay. Yeah? You're a good pussycat. You're a good pussycat. Where are you going? Oh, you're down. Yeah. Oh, you're back on the back. That's a boy. Yes, you can sniff around. You can explore the whole bloody world, mate, because it's yours. Yeah, yes it is. You live here, it's your territory. You can be a good little pussycat. You can do whatever you like because you're allowed. Yeah? So there you go, and now you know. SkittyKitty's almost come to an end. He's on his last legs. He's not quite at the point where he's got one foot in the grave and the other foot on a banana peel, but we are planning to dig his grave tomorrow. And to be honest, that's as sad as buggery. But he's had a really good life, and he's still enjoying himself. And to be honest, I think it's kind of sort of almost better to go out when you're on top of your game before it all gets to be absolutely bloody miserable. And it's not my call. My daughter gets to call the vet and I get to pay the bill. And that's kind of sort of how it should be. You okay, boss? You are a good pussycat. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes. I'm a panentheist and a faithist, and everybody alive in the universe is part of the Godhead. So, of course, the Creator God theory knows all about you and knows all about me. We're all part of the same God theory, and we all cooperate and get along together. Yeah, because survival of the fittest is exactly right, but the fittest means the most friendly and cooperative. It doesn't mean the nastiest, horriblest arsehole. It means the friendliest. There we go. See, he's once again attracted to rusty steel. He's old rusty Cooper's beer bottle lid, which my daughter has hammered and flattened and knotted on string and made a mobile out of, like 25 years ago or something like that. And it's rusty steel, and he likes the taste of rusty steel. That's certainly something for the experimental research veterinarian to get onto. Why is it that the pussycat on his last legs likes the taste of rusty steel? If you can come up with an answer of that, I for one will be highly enlightened. And there you see the wet beer bottle. Sought out, approached and tasted by a pussycat on his last legs. Whoever would have thunk it? Who would have thought it? It's weird. I don't understand it, but I accept it, darling. If that makes it all feel better, then you go your hardest. Yeah? We're no longer worried about the idea that the pain relief might upset your kidneys. That's not a problem. But look at this. As my daughter says, it's difficult to claim that he's not enjoying being a cat. He gets around, he sniffs at life, he explores, he checks. Make sure we're getting it all correct. He's a good cat. But I've got to agree that this business of 5 minutes of crepitus, where he doesn't really have the ability to stop wriggling his jaw because it all hurts, that's not much fun. It's not much fun for him, it's not much fun for anybody to watch. So, he's only been incontinent of urine once, and that was during a pain spasm, and that was over a week ago. So it's really kind of surprising how long it takes for a pussycat to reach the final stage where his best friends think that it's probably time for him to stop being here. And it's a bloody difficult decision to make. It really is. Not one I've ever had to make because once upon a time I had a miniature fox terrier and yeah, I think my parents had it put down. I had a full-size fox terrier and I went to boarding school. Dad got sick, Mum gave it to another family and eventually he probably got hit by a snake and he died. I've had multitudes of my wife's pets die over the years when we were living together, but I've never had to get involved with the vet delivering planned euthanasia for a pet. I've had to shoot a horse with a broken leg. And of course I used to be a hunter, so I've also killed animals for the table, for the pot, so to speak. But no, I've never had to be involved in a family friend, a pussycat, a companion animal, which was dependent on one for food and shelter and water and warmth and all that, which got to the point where it was really difficult to justify trying to offer it food because every time it eats, it hurts. And you can see it hurting, and the hurting goes on for 5, 10, 15 minutes after every time the poor little bugger tries to eat. He has a couple of mouthfuls and then he freaks out. Well, we're not going to go to nasogastric feeding on a cancerous pussycat, are we? We're not going to go to total parenteral nutrition, IV, into his bloody veins. No, that's not going to happen. He's an 18-year-old one-eyed cat who's dying of mouth cancer. It's time for him to go. If we'd caught it a month or two after he got it, yeah, okay, there's all these aggressive pussycat cancer treatments that are possible, including the same kind of radiotherapy, chemotherapy I got. But A, we didn't catch it at that point, and B, we didn't have the money, and C, you can't explain that to a cat. I understood why I was getting my head cooked. He would not have. Tell that, he's had a fun time, living as long as he can on an endangered species sanctuary. And he just walked the length of the veranda, and not one of those chuffs got upset about it. They finally got the message. Skitty Kitty is permitted to be here, and they don't have to freak out about it. It's an unnecessary thrill. I know that he's here. They know that he's here. They can cope with the fact that he's here. Life is such. Isn't it, mate? Hey, Skitty Kitty? How are you going? How are you? Yes. So I don't know whether this is going to be your final visit. You might want to come down here and talk to me tomorrow. But it might be the final one that I record. Yeah? And like I said, if anybody knows why it is that pussycats with, or a pussycat with mouth cancer likes the taste of rusty iron and steel, there could be a PhD in that. Put in there. Pussiest cat. Warbles on a lot to YouTube. Ciao.